My name is Claire Morris and I'm the Mindfulness Coordinator at Mind in Salford, which is a mental health and support charity. It's a really good question, that, because actually my journey from meditation and mindfulness started about 12 years ago. So yeah, I wasn't in a very good place. I was suffering from depression, anxiety and stress, and I didn't particularly like myself very much. So yeah, it was really quite a time of struggle. So I decided to go to the Manchester Buddhist Centre. So I just had this sense that I kind of needed to have some answers to what was happening in life. Sometimes we just need to look at those big questions. So I went to the Manchester Buddhist Centre, and what happened was I learned about mindfulness and I learned about meditation, which I hadn't really thought about before as a way for me to help my mental health at all. I just thought actually just finding some questions to some answers would be really good. But actually, what happened was I was actually forced, or well, encouraged, to sit with these difficult feelings and experiences, which I hadn't before. I'd pushed them away. And when I sat with these difficult experiences, I realized that actually it was okay, it was manageable, I could deal with it. And then I learned as well from that point to come into a relationship with myself with more kindness and compassion. So that was about 12 years ago now. And I was just completely, I just fell in love really with meditation and mindfulness, and for me in particular Buddhism, that I've continued to practice ever since. And so how I came into this line of work, I've only been teaching for about 4 years, but it comes from a real place of my own personal belief in mindfulness and meditation, because I know I felt the impact myself really. So I'm this kind of like living example that mindfulness meditation can really help. So that's how I came about it. And then I was really fortunate to start working for Mind in Salford as a mindfulness coordinator, I think about 2 years ago now. Sometimes time flies, doesn't it? I can lose track of time. So that's how I got involved with teaching mindfulness. I did train as well, actually. I should mention that I trained to become a qualified mindfulness teacher through an organisation called Breathworks. So I did an intermediate mindfulness training program, and then an advanced one as well to train as a teacher. Yeah, so my intentions are always to meditate every morning. So for me, morning works better than evening. Sometimes I'm quite tired in the evening if I've been working quite hard. So actually, yeah, sometimes, when you're really tired and trying to meditate, it can be quite difficult. So I have the intention to meditate each morning. Sometimes, that doesn't happen if I'm feeling lazy, it just doesn't happen, but that's okay. Because mindfulness meditation is about self-care. So if I'm actually thinking, I didn't sleep very well, am I going to have a lie? And then that's okay. But my intention is to meditate in the morning for about half an hour. So I have different practices depending on how I feel. So sometimes I might feel like I need some more energy. So I'll do a mindful breathing practice, so mindfulness of the breath. Sometimes I might feel like maybe I need to do some compassion meditation, some loving kindness meditations. Maybe if I'm feeling a bit disconnected, from my experience, or a bit disconnected from other people, I might do a practice like that. Or I might do a nature-based meditation. So my freelance work outside of Mind in Salford, quite a lot of that is mindfulness in nature. Nature has been a real lifesaver for many of us, actually, because it's probably the only consistent thing we've been able to engage in. So for me, I very much incorporate that in my practice as well. So that's the formal aspect. So meditation and mindfulness has two aspects. So the formal one is when you sit with an intention to meditate. The informal aspect of mindfulness is kind of everyday mindfulness. So when we talk about mindfulness, what we're talking about really is just bringing awareness to what is happening in our experience. So for example, if I'm in the working day and feeling like I'm getting quite overwhelmed, there's too many meetings going on, there's too many emails, then the first thing I'll do is I'll just check in. Okay, I'm feeling stressed. Maybe my body's feeling a bit tight, my shoulders are up here. What do I need to do in this moment? So it's having those moments of awareness throughout the day. So it could be, I think, I need to go for a walk. I need to get some fresh air. So I'd always be checking in on things like that throughout the day. So that's that's what a mindfulness practice for me would look like on a daily basis. And then for the long term, I'd sustain that by going on meditation retreats, which might last for a weekend, it might last for a week. And at the moment, obviously, everything's online, but they work just as well. Just having that time to really focus on, on practice. Yeah, because mindfulness isn't a quick fix, sadly. Sometimes people think, oh, if I just bring some awareness to something, it'll be a quick fix. And there is an aspect of that, there is a sense of well-being that can happen. But it's like a lot of things, we're training our mind to respond in a more kindly way than react through habit. So we have to do that ongoing training. This is why having a practice every day is really helpful. It's a skill for life, mindfulness. This is the thing. I think a lot of schools now are starting to introduce mindfulness and meditation to school kids, because it is a skill that we don't get taught. We don't get taught actually what to do when tough things happen. How do we cope? How do we resource ourselves? How do we build this resilience? We're not really taught that when we're little kids. So sometimes we need to start looking at that when we're adults, because that's exactly what we're doing. For us to be healthy, happy human beings, we need to have a degree of resilience, of emotional resilience. So mindfulness can help us do that, because what mindfulness is asking us is to have a pause, because we operate on doing mode. We go from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, and we call that autopilot. So we might be on autopilot so much that actually we're not really tuning in with what's happening with ourselves. And particularly if we're experiencing stress, long-term stress is not good for our health at all. It can lead to very complicated medical things going on. So we need to have that pause. We aren't machines. We are human beings, and we're not designed, if you like, to just keep going and going and running on empty. So mindfulness asks us to check in. So it's really, really important that we do that. Mindfulness is really good for mental health as well. So there's lots of research to support that mindfulness can help with anxiety, stress, depression, chronic pain. So these things that can really affect our lives and actually make our lives quite miserable. Through mindfulness, we can learn how to be with these aspects of life which are challenging, and how can we soften around them. And quite often the transformation can be quite incredible, because it is a skill for life. So I think that's why it's really important that people have access to this. And you don't need to have particular skills either. Anyone can meditate and be mindful. You just need someone there to guide you through it and give you a bit of support and a few tips of how you can do that. But I believe everyone can engage in meditation and mindfulness. So yeah, you can get meditations, which are like 40 minutes long or something like that, but you can equally get meditations which are just a few minutes. So I could lead a very short practice if that felt okay, maybe just 2 or 3 minutes. And all I'd ask for you to do is, if you're sat down or if you stood up, first of all, noticing your feet are touching the ground. So this is a really key thing. Quite often, if we're feeling a bit stressed or a bit up in the head, we need this sense of grounding in the feet. So that's what we do first. Then we close our eyes if we were happy to, so we can kind of come into the felt sense. So we close our eyes and bring awareness into the body, because we occupy so much time in the head. Let's bring awareness in the body. So noticing the feet are making contact with the ground, noticing what you're sat on, the points of pressure, and then noticing how your hands are resting, allowing your hands to be soft. So bringing this awareness in the body, there's something about that can make us feel a bit more centered, a bit more grounded, a bit more aware. And then bringing awareness to the breath. So we use the breath a lot in meditation because it anchors us into the now. So that's what we're trying to do with mindfulness, be in the now. So you can place your hand on your chest and your belly. And all we're doing is just noticing the breath coming in and out. We don't need to change the breath. The body knows how to breathe. All we're doing is noticing the breath is present. So noticing how the body moves back and forward with the breath. And as best we can, just tuning into this, the sensations in the body with the breath. And just trying to maintain that awareness. Even if the mind comes in and wants to drag us off, we very kindly bring the awareness back to the rise and fall of the breath in the body. And just seeing if when we're doing this practice, if there's any holding on, areas of tension, maybe around the shoulders, maybe around the face, the forehead, the jaw. And just see if bringing awareness to those areas that we know where we hold tension, just see if that can allow those areas to soften. So all we need to do in this moment is be with the breath in the body, and that's all we need to do. And just a few more moments here. And then placing your hands in your lap. And then bringing awareness back into the body, maybe noticing the points of contact, pressure points the body's making with what you sat on. And the feet on the ground, the solid earth below. And then opening your eyes. So that's a very, very short practice. So basically what we're doing is bringing awareness in the body, the feet on the ground, feeling the breath in the body, focusing the mind, and that's it. And just those few minutes can make a big, big difference. It's just like having a little pause from all the craziness that can go on in the head, the busyness, to what's really here now. So yeah, there is lots of support there. I think obviously Mind in Salford is a fantastic place to start. You can go to the website and there's lots of resources there. The NHS have support services as well, and so does Salford. Salford Council has different helplines, and if you're really struggling, then it's okay to phone 999. If you feel like it's a real desperate situation, then that's okay, because don't second guess things like that. Think, oh no, I shouldn't do. And equally, if you're really concerned about somebody, really worried about their safety, then I definitely encourage you to do that. And also, your local doctor, your GP, make an appointment there. Maybe not in person, it might be a telephone consultation. Reaching out to your GP can be really helpful as well. And finding maybe a friend or a family member and opening up, sharing what's happening to you could make such a difference. Don't struggle in silence. Definitely, there is lots of support out there.